Alright guys, here we go. We got homework number 1. We're just going to review a little bit of algebra stuff here today. So this will set us up for the rest of the geometry course here. So I'm going to just do the odds here with you, and then you can go back and do the evens. So anyways, solving some algebra equations here. We're going to start you out real simple with one-steppers here. You're trying to isolate x. You've done this hopefully since middle school here. So to isolate x plus 10 here, you're going to subtract 10 from both sides. And then that's going to get you, I guess, what is that, x equals 16 right there. So pretty simple there. By the way, at the end of this worksheet, there should be an answer key, so you can go and check all of your answers there. So definitely do that on the odds there. And then also just make sure you're showing all of your steps that you're doing. That'll help you get credit for your work. Alright, with number 3 here, we're going to kind of do the same thing. Isolate this b. Doesn't have to always be x. We'll do that by adding 18. Okay, because you always got to think of canceling things out. To cancel something out, you got to do the opposite. So that leaves you with b, and then negative 5 plus 18, that should be 13. Okay, now some people don't really draw this little line down the middle. Not a big deal if you do or do not. It just kind of helps you separate things, I guess, right there. So, all right, next one here, starting with another easy one there. So you got 20 times in. The opposite of times is divide. So we'll divide both sides here by 20. Here at the end, you should get n. 20 goes in the 40. Well, put it this way, 2 goes in the 40 20 times. So actually, I think that's going to be 20 right there. So there you go. Not too bad there on that one. Let's do one here like this right there. You got a fraction. A lot of people think, oh no, fractions. Not sure what to do here. It really just, you got p divided by 18. And we're going to do the opposite of divide. We're going to multiply by 18. Whatever you do to one side, you got to do it to the other. And let me grab my calculator. That's a little bigger than I can do here in my head. Those should cancel out. You should have p. 18 times 6 is 108, so this will be negative 108. And that'll be it there on that. Not too bad. So yeah, those are some one-step problems right there, all pretty straightforward for the most part. So starting here after this point, we designed the worksheet to have some two-step problems, or maybe even 3 steps. So with this one here, trying to get k by itself, the best approach here to this is we're going to add the 3 first to both sides. That'll get us negative 72 over there. Then you have 4k over here, and then you have 4 times k, the opposite of times is divide, so we'll divide both sides there by 4. And that'll be a bigger number. Let me divide that with my calculator. That'll get us 18, so this will be negative 18 there on that one. Okay, next one. Alright, so whenever we have parentheses, hopefully back in Algebra 1 you talked a lot about distributive property. What does that mean? We take this number outside of the parentheses, and it needs to be right next to it, not really separated by anything. It needs to be multiplied, negative 2 times everything here in the parentheses, and we're going to multiply both pieces in the parentheses. So this will be negative 2r, and then this will be minus 18. Okay, and then you got negative 14 over there. Okay, and then from here we'll add 18 to both sides. Okay, if you want to split it, you can. So negative 2r will be left over. What is that, equal to 4? And then negative 2 times r, the opposite of times is divide. And that'll get you r is equal to negative 2. So that one's got a couple extra steps there. Make sure you're writing out all of your steps, and then you should be good to go. Okay. Alright, next one here, we got the minus 6. We'll add 6 to both sides to cancel that out. So that's k divided by 8. Actually happens to equal 1. And then we're going to multiply both sides here by 8. And that'll get you k equals 8 actually. That works out. Alright, so moving along. slight variation of the last one here. You have this entire n minus 5 divided by 7. It's not written, but it's implied to have parentheses right there. What we essentially need to do, we can't really just add 5 to both sides to cancel that out because it's got this divide by 7 piece right there, and technically you gotta do the divide and multiply stuff before. So our way around this here is we're gonna undo the divide by 7 by multiplying by 7 on both sides. That's gonna get us negative 14 and then n minus 5. Okay, and then once you're done with that, then we finish getting n by itself by adding 5 to both sides, and that'll get us negative 9 is equal to m, and that'll be it there. So pretty easy there on those. Next, we're going to start a couple of problems here. We're going to have multiple of the same thing, sometimes numbers, sometimes variables. So let's look at this here. So you got negative 3b and then negative 7b. You're going to add those together. You're going to combine like terms. Since they're both together on the same side, you add them together. Be careful because a lot of people will say, oh, I need to cancel out 3b. So they might try and write this, add 3b, but you're doing that to the same side. And algebra is all about keeping things balanced. If you add something to the same side twice, that's going to unbalance it. So our way around this here, let's see if I can raise, yeah, there we go. So our way, what we're going to do here is we're going to just say combine these here, negative 3b, and then take away 7 more of those b's is negative 10b. Okay, and then from there, then we can subtract the 4. It's actually negative 10 equals negative 10b. And then we'll divide by negative 10. And don't forget, a negative divided by a negative is actually positive. So you'll get b is equal to positive 1, and then that is it there on that. So be kind of careful with the combine like terms step right there. It's very, very common error. Okay, let's try one where there's multiple of the same numbers. So this time you got 5 and then the negative 3. You can't just say, oh, minus 5 from both sides because you want to combine these two guys here first. So let's do that. That's negative 4x. That'll be positive 2. Okay, and then from there, let's go minus 2 from both sides. That's negative 24. And then, or yeah, negative 24, sorry, I think there. And then divide by negative 4. And then that'll get us x equals 6. And that'll be it there. Okay, and then from here on, we're going to have a bunch of different types of problems that have all of these steps that we have learned so far. So, you know, this worksheet kind of just naturally progresses itself here. It gets harder and harder. Big thing that I'll see here on a problem like 21, if you want to put a star next to this, I'm pretty sure 22 is designed to be pretty similar. Yes, it is. Okay. With an 8 right here, a lot of people will say, hey, let's distribute 8, and then they'll write this. They'll say minus 8, they'll say 8 times 5n is 40n, and then equals to negative 246. And the big error that people make right here is you have to distribute the negative with the 8 here. So it's negative 8 times 1, and then it's negative 8 times 5n, which is going to mess that sign up right there. So make sure that sign right there, let me get my eraser to be smaller. Make sure this sign right here is a negative 40n, and then you should be good. Okay, from there we'll combine like terms. This is a positive 2, and then a negative 8. That'll combine up to negative 6. We will add the 6 to the other side, or to both sides. If you want to write it out, you can. Some people might even skip this and just write negative 240. You can do that as well. And then I know 4 goes into 24 6 times, so 40 should go into 240 6 times as well. And that'll be it there on that one. So a little bit of a trickier problem. Condense that a little. And that's going to be it though. Okay, sometimes the distributing can be over here on the other side, but pretty much the same thing here. This will be, there's that 40b. And use a calculator, guys, if you need. 8 times 7 was at 56, and then plus the 2b, and equals negative 196. We'll combine them up here, 42b, and then plus 56, negative 196. I'll go ahead and use a calculator so I don't make a mental error here. So we're going to subtract the 56, which is kind of going to be like add negative 252 and then 42b. And then we'll divide that by 42. Hopefully that comes out nice and clean, and it does. It's b. Here I'm going to use a capital B so y'all don't get confused here. B is equal to 6. Fortunately, my B's and 6's kind of look similar. There we go. And that'll be it there on that. So multiple steps there. 25, starting here with this. I don't know if y'all notice here, we have variables on both sides. And sometimes the order of the steps can vary here on these. It doesn't necessarily need to always go in the same step. You can get all your variables on one side and all your regular numbers on the other, and depending on which way you're thinking about it, that can look different ways. I usually like to keep things positive, so I'm going to subtract 5p from both sides. And when you do that, your 5p obviously cancels out, but then your 8p and negative 5p, that'll add up to 3p. Okay, and then we'll just add 10 from there. That'll be 3p, then equals 15. And then divide, and then that'll be, 5. Alright, now you can get the p's on the other side. You can actually even, to add the 10 first if you want to do that. So there's multiple ways to do this. So as long as you get the right answer at the end, that's all we really care about there. So, alright. Let's try this one here. A little bit more involved just because you got combined like terms. Right here you got multiple a's before you begin here. That should come up to 9a. Then you still have the 1. And then I'm going to subtract 6a. That gives us 3a. And then I'm going to subtract the 1. That's going to get us negative 12 equals 3a. So if you want to skip writing out like what you're doing, if you want to skip that minus 1 step, you can do that if you want. It doesn't really matter. Make sure you're showing a little bit of steps here. And then after you divide, you'll get negative 4 equals a right there. That'll help you save a little bit of room there as well. All right, and then we got our final problem here. So this one, pretty much, this might be the hardest one of the whole worksheet. It's not too bad though. You got distributive, and you also got variables on both sides. So we'll distribute here. Negative times a negative, that should be a positive. Make sure you give me a positive 42 there. We'll put minus 48n. Nothing's changing on that left side, so we'll just write it down one more time. Okay, and then I guess we need to get all of our n's together. I'm going to add 48n, and then when I do that, that'll make things positive eventually. Those cancel out. That should be 40n minus 38, and then equals 42. We'll add 38 to the other side, so that should give us 40. Or I'm sorry, not 40, 80. 40n. And then that'll actually divide out real nice. Should be n equals 2 for your final answer. That's going to be it here for today. That's all the problems there. All the odds, if I design this properly here, all the odds should be the same exact thing as the even, so you do have a worked out example for most of these here. And then make sure you're checking the key at the end and you should be good. Alright, take care.